It's showtime.
What's up guys, Django Fett here with Battletech coming out. I felt inclined it was more important to talk about Battletech. With this game already coming out, it's a turn-based game by the creators of Shadowrun Returns, which is much like XCOM, but it's different. Story-based game that revived the Shadowrun series. But it's from the same creators, as well as the original producers of the MechWarrior series, which is awesome. So I felt inclined more than ever to talk about Battletech and my history with Battletech. So let me give a little background into Battletech if you don't know what that is. So Battletech is much like Warhammer 40k, though radically different. It's more based on mech combat, mech-based, history and stuff like that. That spanned thousands of years with different powers and factions rising up, all human, there's no aliens or anything like that. And it had like this board game with the miniatures and stuff like that, so it's kind of like Warhammer 40k in that way. But it actually had like more than 100 titles of Battletech novels, which came out from 1986 to 2002 to establish the lore further. Afterwards, they traversed to the legendary MechWarrior name, which I think many of you guys know. It's pretty much the same universe, Battletech, MechWarrior. They always keep on flip-flopping those names. But Battletech was pretty common back in the day, and then it became a more established name when the video games came out, and they just called it MechWarrior, and everybody knew MechWarrior from there. The series pretty much involves giant, hulking machines controlled by a pilot. It's kind of like Pacific Rim, but one pilot. It's much more realistic in that aspect, and it's not like the Japanese-esque. And usually it involves, these mechs battling it out with one another, and on a planet-wide escalated battles, and then the games would involve a team of like 4 to 8 against, a whole slew of enemies. Back in the day when MechWarrior 2 came out, I actually played that on the PC. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. There was no internet back in the day, so I couldn't look through a walkthrough or anything like that. But I was playing that, and I was like, this is pretty damn awesome, even though I failed the first mission so many times. But it's a mech simulation game where you can be hired by any different number of factions, including the clans, which is awesome because I love the clans. PC Gamer called it the best action game of 1995, and it was just my first entry into the series. And then later on, back in my middle school and high school days, I actually was an avid science fiction and fantasy reader. I just read books like crazy, loved them so much. But Star Wars was definitely my first passion. I love the comics, I love the novels, I was really big into those. And my second passion was actually, I got into much later, was Battletech. I just saw one of the books, I was like, wow, this looks pretty cool. And one of the first books I read was Operation Audacity, which is actually my favorite book in the series. It focuses on Adam Steiner, who is part of the, I think, Lyran Commonwealth, and he's battling out against the clans who are invading across the galaxy. The clans are pretty much like this warrior-like society, rely on strength and stuff like that, and I thought it was pretty cool. I always love the clans. Clan Jade Falcon is my clan right there. Well, that's what's up. So that's why you guys know I love the Mandalorian, so I have to love the clans too. I just love like this warrior society relying on strength and stuff like that. I think that was pretty cool. There was actually another book called Legend of the Jade Phoenix, which is like a trilogy, focuses on the clans. So I thought that was a really cool concept. There hasn't been that much that were focused on the clans themselves. It was only like that book when that came out. That was like one of the first entries into the clans, focused on the clans, and it showed you this whole different society, and it was just really intriguing stuff. I think my favorite mech by far is the Mad Cat. Clans called it the Timberwolf, but Inner Sphere, they called it the Mad Cat. I don't know why they called it differently, I don't know why, but it is what it is, it's whatever. It's also the front of the Legend of the Jade Phoenix trilogy, so that's pretty nice as well. So I just love that mech with a passion. I think that's just, oh my god, awesome mech. So I definitely want to have that for my character in the new game for sure. I have a few books in my collection, and that doesn't even illustrate how many books I've actually read. I've read like dozens or so books and just read a lot of them. It's just a really intriguing timeline that is very concise and consistent. I don't know how the MechWarrior books are now, like further on in the timeline, or how they are now, because I haven't read them in like those ones. I've just read the Battletech books. But so far from what I've read, the timeline is pretty consistent. The warfare is pretty damn awesome. Seeing the mechs and stuff just battle it out with one another. It's brutal and visceral, and I just love it with a passion. I just love like the little politic games and the mix and stuff like that. I thought that was just awesome stuff overall. And then years later, MechAssault 1 and 2 came out. Back in the original Xbox for 2002 and 2004. These were solely original Xbox titles, which, unlike today, they were much more streamlined MechWarrior games, in which your character, controls these different types of mechs, and they have to, fight against this faction called the Word of Blake. They were pretty good games, like MechAssault 2 especially, because you could come out of the mech, go into different pilot stuff and different shit like that, and it was pretty cool. And you could actually have multiplayer. I actually never played the multiplayer. The multiplayer always intrigued me for MechAssault 2. Unfortunately, there was never a MechAssault 3 to complete that trilogy, but man, those MechAssault games were pretty damn badass and great console exclusives. And I'd love to see Xbox One X remaster those games, or put them for the Xbox One X. If you have the original games, just like up-res the graphics and stuff like that. I think that would be pretty cool. And there was also a TV show which focused on Adam Steiner and his crew fighting off against the Jade Falcon clan, and it was pretty hokey. I watched like one episode. It was like cartoon B-rated stuff, man. It was pretty bad. Like I knew from there that it would be the same thing, that the heroes would beat the villain and the villain would run away and then do the same thing. It's like G.I. Joe shit, man. So I didn't feel inclined to continue watching it, even though it's had some cool stuff here and there. Now I'm pretty excited for Battletech, this new Battletech game that's coming out. They brought in the old Battletech name. It's not MechWarrior anymore, so I thought it was pretty intriguing for me. And I think they're actually having a MechWarrior 5 game coming out later this year, around December. So I'm pretty excited for that as well. It's actually going to be centered around, I think, 3050 is the year that it's supposed to be centered. It's just another conflict between, I think, the Lyran Commonwealth and the Alliance, I think. I always just forget my timeline. I've just forgotten for the longest time. The only thing that I have an issue with is that it's actually not going to be centered around the clans, from what I'm seeing. And I love the clans. They're like my favorite part into the Battletech universe. There might be clans showing up later on, but it's not consistent with that timeline. I mean, it's not consistent with the year that it's supposed to be centered around. That's going to be much later. I love to see the clans battle it out with the Inner Sphere, and you control like your group and side with which faction you want during this warfare that's happening, and seeing how you can influence like one of the factions and stuff like that. I think that would be pretty cool. So unfortunately, I think it's just going to be without the clans for the time being. Maybe they'll be added later on, who knows, I might be wrong. But right now, not so much. So this game is actually premiering at $40 right now, so it's actually not a bad price. It's from the creators of Shadowrun Returns, like I said before, and it's actually a pretty good deal. It's $40, it's not a big AAA price, but it's much like Shadowrun Returns, turn-based strategy. So if you're into that, it might be worth checking out, man. Because I'll be getting this. I actually already got it right now. I already pre-ordered the game. I'm actually going to be streaming this game. After I'm done this video, I will be streaming the game over the weekend and give you guys my insights into the game itself. So color me excited for the game, man. I'm pretty excited. I love the Battletech universe. I'm gonna bring that shit back for sure. It's been a while since an actual MechWarrior Battletech game has come out. MechWarrior Online was the last game, but I want a story-based Battletech MechWarrior game, and it's coming back to its roots. It looks like it. And I'll be streaming this game over the weekend, so look out for that. I'll probably do it on YouTube or Twitch, one of those two. I'll do an announcement later on. Please be sure to like this video, comment down below, donate to my Patreon if you can, and subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, and let me know your thoughts of the Battletech game in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.